Good morning, CLC. Welcome to our 35th anniversary service. We are so happy that you could join us. As you can see, we have a cute little surprises going on, lots of music, lots of fun. So we won't do too many announcements today. The one thing I want to mention though, this Wednesday, 7 p.m., Facebook Live, Reverend Jesse is going to be on stage with Donald John Lewis. They are going to be having a conversation about race. We hope that it is enlightening, informative, and we hope that you can join us. So with that, that's going to be this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Whew. We've had a lot going on this morning, so please excuse us. We just want to make sure we had everything just right for you guys. The other thing, too, is all the other announcements that we would possibly be making if we didn't want to hear all this wonderful music are on your email, or should be, if you are getting emails from CLC. If you are not, I need you to email Jesse at info@creativelife.org. Let him know that you are not receiving emails. Oh, the other thing, too, is if you've already let him know, please check your spam or junk mail. We have had issues where sometimes it goes there. But if you have never let him know this, let him know at info@creativelife.org so you can get the emails, so you can have all the announcements. Let's see, what else? That's it right now. We have come to giving time. With that, thank you so much for all of your previous donations. We are so grateful that you help support us whenever you can. And with that, we appreciate your support now. We will have in the comment section in just a little bit a link to our PayPal that you can click on and donate there. You can also go straight to creativelife.org, and there's a donate tab on there that you can click and donate through there. So I ask you to join me in saying, Divine Love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is. Now, I invite you all to relax in this moment. Take a few deep breaths. Let all your worries from the days and weeks that pass aside. Any future concerns that you have coming up, just let it go for now. Breathe in cool, crisp, cleansing air. Breathe out all that no longer serves you. Allow your mind to relax. Allow your body to relax. And know, universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin the inner healing process, let me invite you now to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your right hand, and let my words act as your own for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge.
I acknowledge.
Acknowledging the higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of the infinite presence, I simply speak these words. I surrender.
I surrender.
Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive.
I forgive.
Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only positive, constructive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose.
I choose.
Now, I center upon that one special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. Visualizing the idea as already acted upon and brought to pass, in seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words. I accept.
I accept.
Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in peace and fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release.
I release.
Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This can be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present with me in the room this morning. I turn toward that image in my mind's eye and say, I am grateful for the good in your life.
I'm grateful for the good in your life.
Now I open my eyes, turn to the world around me, and speak joyfully to anyone physically present or virtually on this broadcast, and share in gratitude and confidence in saying, I am grateful for the good in all of your lives.
Grateful for the good in your life. Grateful for the good in your life. But I want to welcome you here to what is actually our 35th anniversary celebration. It was 35 years ago this month. It was not 35 years ago today. I was mistaken. I'm sorry. It was like 10 days ago, 35 years, that we got our charter, that it's dated. Maybe it took 10 days to get to us, so we can call it that. But it was dated the 15th of October, 1985, the charter that we got from what was then the United Church of Religious Science, saying, you are now unleashed and you can do, we're setting you loose upon the world. As at that time, the Church of Religious Science, North Houston, that was the name of this place. Isn't that awful? That was... You know, church, first of all, people, I mean, the only word in there that kind of doesn't push a button is the. But later we became Creative Life Church of Religious Science, and later still Creative Life Spiritual Center. And part of what we do at the center is church. That's what this looks like more than it doesn't, right? But we're also community outreach. We're also a bookstore. We're also many different aspects of what we do. What we do principally is teach the science of mind. So in thinking about what I was going to say today, rather than taking you on a long, painful trek through our entire history and naming a bunch of names and forgetting people and, you know, all of this, you have this amazing photo montage that's now on pause while I'm speaking, but that Danielle has put together of snippets of our history. There are some pictures in there that are real old, so old they were Polaroids, so old they were black and white. They had color film. You know, we date back to the Reagan administration in this place. They had color film, but why stuff was shot in black and white was so you could take it down to this Photoshop on Luetta and have an 80% line screen dropped on it, and you could print it in the newspaper. You see, color photos wouldn't reproduce that way, so that's why it was shot this. And so we used to send out press releases, and we used to print stuff up, and I have shelves full of old newsletters and printed matter that we sent out and that we distributed. Now everything's going digital. But we have these pictures here that we've scanned and so on, and they'll take you through. The ones I was seeing as we were finishing that last song were from some of the recent shows that we've had, also on pause now. But it's been a rich and amazing time that we've spent here since the Reagan administration, 35 years. I was in my early 20s. Actually, I was just 20 when I found Science of Mind, and then I was in my late 20s when I became a practitioner, and it was in practitioner training that a friend of mine and I decided to start a study group. And I told you I wasn't going to take you through the whole history, but this part's unavoidable. Personal computers were brand new. And so this friend of mine decided he wanted to, not without reason, make a living. So he sold PCs, and he sold me the group, the Science of Mind study group. He says, I can't commit to be out there. Because we were out in the middle of nowhere at the time. We lived in Southwest Houston and came all the way out here to what was the country, you know. And he said, I can't do this anymore. Well, I had nothing else to do. So I came out on Wednesday nights. We met in the kitchen, around a kitchen table. And a few more people came, and then we moved to a meeting room in a motel. The motel still stands. It's changed hands a number of times, but it's still down there, 45 and Greens Road. And then we came to this place. I did not expect that 35 years later, I would still be doing this. If you had told me, and Lisa behind the camera here is smiling because all our ministers say this. If you'd told me that I was going to do this, I'd have said you were out of your mind. But it happens, you know. I knew I wanted to teach Science of Mind, but I didn't know this would be the structure or the form for it. I had no attachment to there being an actual institution, an actual campus with buildings and stuff. But that's what you wanted. And that's what I want to talk about today, is what you wanted. You, the viewers, you who are out there, you made this place what it is. Your time, your energy, and yes, your money poured into this place has given us what we have. And I stand here on this stage and I look out at a whole bunch of mostly empty seats, just the musicians that you've seen here and the camera crew. And I think, you know, every one of those seats has been paid for 100 times over by sweat equity and the investments of people that are long gone out of the picture now. People have moved away. People have left the planet. When you come into the ministry when you're young and you draw people who are maybe twice your age at the time, you know, there's a natural cycle to life, and they move on, but they don't leave without some remnant of their love left behind. Which brings me to this. I'm wearing a Halloween tie because it's Halloween coming up next week. And this is a Halloween-y kind of place, Creative Life. You know, it was around Halloween. It was just after Halloween in 1983 that we had made the decision to start a study group that actually began the following month before Thanksgiving. And then it was around Halloween 2 years later, as I said, that we chartered as the center. Well, we're a Halloween-y kind of place. And what do I mean by that? Well, every year I give a Halloween talk. This is it, sort of, too, shoveled in here along with everything else in the 35th anniversary deal. I give a Halloween talk about how the veil is thin between. This is an expression of Ernest Holmes, and he was speaking of the veil between mortal life on the planet and those who have passed on before us. And he had a mystical experience, as many of you know, in the middle of a talk. I'm waiting for that to happen to me, but he had a mystical experience in the middle of a talk where something happened and he had to go sit down because he said, we do mingle with the hosts of heaven. So I bring this up because what this place stands for is very much a Halloween-y kind of an idea. It's that there's an unseen realm that's the source of everything that's seen. Everything that occurs in form comes from the formless. This is what the Science of Mind principally teaches. Secondarily to that, it teaches that you can do something with this. You can treat, you can manifest, you can shape your own destiny in some way, but the main thing to remember is that you are a spiritual being. You're a non-physical entity who has come into human form. Therefore, there's a part of you and there's a part of me that is not bound by the laws of this world. There's a part of us that submits, if you will, to a higher authority. And that's the part that we go to in prayer. This is the thing that caught my attention about the Science Mind teaching long ago, when they said to me that I was more than I seem. That I was more than I seem. When you're in your 20s, you seem a lot. You know what I mean? You kind of have it all together. And I'm still more than I seem. And what they meant was, you're more than your successes, and you're more than your troubles. You're more than your hopes and your dreams and your ambitions and your goals, and you're certainly more than your phobias and neuroses, you know. We're more than this. We're not from here. We're from the stars. We are stardust. We are golden. And we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. And this is a sampling, this place of the garden. This is a sampling. That garden is a metaphorical, small representation of the eternal and infinite garden that you have created for yourselves to remind you. This is what creative life does. We remind one another. Long ago, a man came and took our heartfelt living class. I don't even know that we were calling it that yet. It was still Science Mind 1. And in that class, he made the comment, I never knew there was a place that teaches what I've always believed. And that's become kind of our slogan. You'll see it various places. I never knew there was. Now that presumes a lot, to say that not only for that man, but for the world at large, there's a part of us that's always known this. And that tends to kind of crowd into the area of being the one true religion or something. Well, we're not going to go there at all. What we are going to say is that there's a part of every living being that is known that they have an eternal and infinite source, that they are immortal, timeless, and unstoppable. Whatever their creed, whatever the name of the deity they worship or pray to or reject, the bottom line of all of us is that we are this. We are this light. And so we come into a teaching like this, and for a while I thought it was arrogance on my part, because I was an arrogant young man who thought I had it all figured out. And when I said, I've known all this stuff all along. Dr. Ben Winter, my first teacher, I said to him, I've known all of this, what you're saying. And he said it great. But there wasn't anything really new there except validation. And so I thought this was probably pretty arrogant of me, that I should shut up and listen more, and I'd probably find things that I didn't know. But his response was along the lines of, well, that's what all of us say when we come into this. This is what I've felt. How I put it now is that I had the music and this teaching gave me the words to it. Some kind of structure to it. So I'm a word kind of guy, and you get words from me to the music that you already have in your soul. 35 years, as I mentioned last week. If I'm another 35 with you, I'm 99. And we'll get some press coverage. Center has anniversary with 99-year-old minister. That might be the feel-good story on the evening news they always end with, the human interest piece and stuff. But however long we have together, may this place always stand. And when I'm no longer with you, and our younger generation of ministers, excellent ministers, one of whom I'm looking at now, are leading the place, in 50 or 100 or 200 years from now, I want to know that this place stands and that people can still come here, and whatever the world looks like then. When they arrive in their jet packs, their solar-powered jet packs, and land on the roof, and come down like the fireman's pole or whatever into the place, when pigs fly or whatever is happening all these, decades from now, I want to know that people can still make their way to this place and walk in here and say to whoever they meet, I have a dream for my life. I have a vision of what I want to become. And what they'll hear back is that you can do this. You have what it takes because you are what it takes. That kind of validation. I want people to say, I felt there's a connection between thoughts and things. I felt there's a power that's resident within creation, yet greater than all creation. I felt that there are unseen forces around me that are benevolent and kindly, and I can interact with these things. Tell me I'm not crazy, and you'll be able to come to this place and be told, not only are you not crazy, you're incredibly sane. And this is some of the greatest sanity you could possibly have, and the world will use it. The world will need it, even then, all these years from now. A few sane people, William James called teachings such as this New Thought. He said it's the religion of healthy mindedness. Isn't that great? The religion of, and we pat ourselves on the back for that. And we do pat ourselves on the back. We pat ourselves a lot and shake hands and hug and all, and in gratitude for all that we've accomplished here. But we have a lot left to do because the world is still a hurting place. In 1985, when we chartered, was around the time, I'm not sure it was exactly that year, but it was around the time President Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Okay? It was around that time that the Challenger explosion occurred. We've had so many traumas in the culture that we've experienced along the way. We had the Berlin Wall coming down and great joys like that too. It's been a rocky and turbulent ride throughout the last years of the 20th century and into the first 20 of the 21st, But every time we got together, we said, well, the world needs this. The world needs this. The world is always going to need this on some level. But the time is right now for a lot of changes to happen. And we are working, all of us, diligently now, mostly from our homes, mostly virtually, rather than getting together in a group setting. We're working in consciousness to steer this planet in the direction of healing on every level and in every sense of that word. This place, small though it is in numbers, is mighty in consciousness. As they say it in boxing, it's punched above its weight for a really long time here at Creative Life. So what I ask from you, all of you who are watching, and for some reason our numbers have spiked alarmingly on YouTube the last couple of weeks. No, I'm kidding, alarmingly. They're what, alarming? Isn't this what you wanted? Yeah, well, there are a whole lot more people watching out there, and what's alarming is we don't know why, but it's great. We're so happy to have you, and we hope you'll come back. And I'll leave you with this thought, because I want to practice some more drums with the gang here. I'll leave you with this thought. Never doubt that a small group of highly committed people can change the world, because in fact it's the only thing that ever has. You've heard that before, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where you are right now, if you feel isolated, if you feel alone, just know that you're not. Know that the power that made you is right there with you. Know that our thoughts and love surround you. Know that your heart's desires are as close to you as your very next breath, or as Ernest Holmes used to put it, they're as close to you as your neck vein. He said that, your neck vein. He got that from the Talmud, I believe, yeah. And he said, you can't get much closer than that. Right there. The power, the presence, the principle. Creative Life teaches the science of mind. The science of mind. And if you'd like to learn more about it, we'll have another class starting in January, another basic class starting on Thursday afternoons called Heartfelt Living. And I hope you'll join us for that. But until then, and if classes aren't really your thing, you tune in here Sundays, you check out our other events, our book studies, our small groups that meet via Zoom and so on. And every one of these is a portal into that place where you'll be loved on and reminded that you're all right, and that everything's going to be all right, because we're all heading in the direction we came here to move this world in, of unconditional love. So, we have a technique that we've been using a really long time. Others used it before us. It's called spiritual mind treatment, and it goes something like this. There is one life, one power, one presence, one spirit, one reality, one infinity. Whatever name I choose to give it, it is one. And I am one with it. And you are one with it. And all beings are one with it. And to quote a favorite Kurt Cobain song lyric, all in all is all we are. All in all is all we are. All in all. Because this one is all, it is fully centered at every point throughout its own creation, fully centered. One of those points is you. Another is me. Another of those points is the person you or I may not understand or agree with. Each one a point of infinite intelligence. Each one a free agent, able to choose with empowered choice. As I realize this, I see myself in the presence of godlings everywhere. Some know who they are, and some are about to. Everyone is busy waking up to the truth of their own being, which, independent of any opinion, any dogma, any attachment, is simply this: the I am. The I am that I am. Each one of us, the experience that Spirit is having of itself in this world at this time by means of us. I affirm and know for myself, all who hear me, and all who are. Self-awareness, personal dominion, and unconditioned love. I affirm and know this. The choices are made from these platforms going forward so that the mountains may burst forth into singing and the trees of the field clap their hands in this garden of delight you and I share together. For this knowing and its manifestation in form, I am so deeply grateful. For these past years, for this time together, all who have contributed, and especially all who have benefited from this teaching and passed through this place a brighter light in the world than they might otherwise have been. I am so deeply grateful. I release this word now and call it done. And so it is. Thank you all so much.
Come here. I'm not going to let you hide behind me. Step that way just a little bit. I'm not going to let him hide behind me. So he will, if y'all don't know, this is my husband, Thomas Ryan. And what he likes to do is describe himself as the stagehand to my star. So that, hence he's trying to hide behind me. So I got a text question. I saw it pop up on the thing. Yes, the photo album, we are going to put a photo album up on Facebook. I heard that there were 600 pictures. That might take a while, so y'all give me like a week. Facebook is, they'll let you upload about 60 pictures at a time. So I'll work my way through it. And it's been a whole lot of fun to watch it. The pictures go by and to feel those memories. So I hope that they mean something to you, as much to you as they did to me. Especially since like 15 years ago, this rabid photographer joined CLC. If you don't know who I'm talking about, that would be me. And but I'm not the only photographer, by the way. I know that Melody contributed a bunch of photographs, and some of those old photographs came out of Jesse's archives. And we want to give one big shout out to Danielle, because she's the one that put it together. You should see the control panel she's got going on right here. I'm looking at it. There's the two. She's got two computers and the projector and the iPad's behind her. So, and we definitely do want another 35 years. We are committed to keeping this place going. I would love to see Jesse doing this when he's 99. He's going to use the science of mind to keep him in good shape. So please go back, look for that PayPal link, or if you want our physical mailing address, however you want, and help us keep the lights on so that we can do this for another 35 years and another 100 years and another 200 years. And I should go ahead and tell you, we're not dressed like this for Halloween. We are dressed like this because for 24 years out at the Texas Renaissance Festival, Creative Life ran a bookstore. And I know I'm going to give one big shout out to James Huckabee because he's on. So, and when we showed up, shortly after we showed up, they did Volunteer Day. And that's where they set up tables out in the garden if the weather's nice. And you can sign up for anything and everything. And just so you know, when you sign up, they call you. Yeah, don't volunteer for something if you're not willing to do it. That's why I'm also a Sunday school teacher. I signed up that list too. And so we showed up and y'all run that bookstore out there? Sign us up. And so we worked there for a bunch of years. And then when James and Valinda, because Valinda was the other manager that we worked for, when they decided that they had had enough and they were ready to move on into other things, my husband and I took over and managed it for the last few years that it was open. The irony is we still work in the same booth. The new owners, when they found out we were for sale, they were like, oh, do you come with the booth? Yes, we do. All right. So thank you very much for 35 years. And thank you very much for 35 more. And in that knowing, I am going to know that there is one life, one power, one presence, one love. And I am a part of that love. It flows through me, in me, and as me. And I know that each and every one of you are a part of that love. That love flows through you, in you, as you. You are that love made manifest in this world. That love comes through the actions that you take, the words that you say, the things that you do. In 35 years, there's been a lot of love in this place. I've been grateful to be a part of it for the last 15. And I look forward to many, 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 many more years. And I'm knowing that this place will continue to provide that love, that place of safety, that safe harbor for those of us that walk through that door and go, I need this. I need to hear these words. I need to see these people. I need these hugs. We'll be here. And so will you. And I am knowing that where you are, you're feeling that love. And you're spreading that love. And I know this with all of the gratitude in my being. And I am grateful for the musicians. I am grateful for our senior minister, Jesse. I'm grateful for my partner in crime, Danielle. And I am grateful for Jeffrey, who keeps the mics turned on and off at appropriate times. And let me tell you, plays a really awesome piano. And hey, we now know he plays guitar too. So, I'm grateful for the family, because this place truly is the family. And in that, I know, and I know you. And so it is.
Say with us now. How does that go again? It went completely out of my head. I choose it. Something wonderful is happening through me. It's happening in my body. I feel it in my mind. I feel it in everything I am. I choose it. I trust it. I use it. And I what? Love it. And so it is. Thank you again. Thank you. Let's do it more.
Did you see that one, Brian?
That's cool. Did y'all plan that? To end with Brian? That's cool.